Like, I don't want you guys thinking it's a direct D video and then you come here and it's me bashing Israel. I want you guys to understand. I am so proud of my anti-Semitism. I can't even put it into words because I know what words mean. And Semitism means a policy or predisposition favorable to the Jays. Here, you know what? I know how you guys all. I'll be right back. Just give me a second. I know how you guys love to. Having trouble with this feed already, huh? All these connection issues while I'm in the middle of fucking Detroit. I'm in the middle of a suburban area surrounded by cell phone towers, but this is what they're talking about. So, real quickly, my wife she's going to enlighten you guys. I just want you guys to see something because got to sort of set the stage, right? Hang on. Just give me 1 second. I just want to prove one thing real quick. Semitism definition into the Google machine. Merriam-Webster. One we can all agree. Yeah, that's the good one, right?
Semitism.
Hear that? So you can prove we're here.
Semitism.
No funny business going on.
Semitism.
Number 1A, Semitic character or qualities. Number 1B, a characteristic feature of a Semitic language occurring in another language. Number 2, policy or predisposition favorable to Jays. You get it? So by me being proud of my anti-Semitism, I'm proud that I don't believe that the rules, regulations, and perspective should favor one group of people over everyone else. You understand? That's supremacy. I'm not the bad guy. The bad guy is the one that says, doesn't matter what we do, it's because we believe this thing, we make this choice. It's not how you're born, it's a choice. That means we're better than everyone else and we get more favor than everyone else. All right, my wife is going to enlighten you somewhere.
So a dear friend of mine that I went to high school with, actually dated at one time. But
what a surprise.
Super smart dude. He's an attorney. He does patent law and a couple other forms of law, but one of the smartest guys I know. He's just astonished. He's looking at, he's not a Trump or Biden supporter. He is, a supporter of American people, or people in general. So, so please don't turn it into, oh, he's a Biden lover, because that's not him. So he says,
I mean, even if everything she says makes you go, oh, he's a Biden supporter, well, then you're just showing how stupid you are, because she's probably not going to make pro-Biden. It's pointing out Trump. So instead of running to the Biden supporter, why don't you say what's wrong with what she's saying?
So he said Trump's post, he thought Trump's post had to be fake. Turns out this is from his Truth Social account. This is extreme and astonishing, coming from the highest office in the USA, which is supposed to be grounded in freedom of speech and expression. We have demeaned and abandoned our country, constitution, and democratic ideals by electing this guy. No one in Washington has any courage to stand up to him. I'm absolutely stunned. And if anyone missed the irony of the president's post about pulling college funds, jailing, and deporting for illegal protests, in quotes, January 6th was an honest-to-goodness illegal protest, but the president pardoned its participants. This is how we know that by illegal means stuff I don't agree with and not things that are actually illegal. And he put the post up that Trump did in the Truth Social account, that all federal funding will stop for any college, school, or university that allows illegal protests. Agitators will be imprisoned or permanently sent back to the country from which they came. American students will be permanently expelled or, depending on the crime, arrested. No masks! Exclamation point. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
What does no masks? Exclamation point mean?
That's a really good question. So, and then his other thing, and this is something DOE cut the SEC's, this is so huge, you guys, cut the SEC's access to Westlaw and the Treasury's access to Pacer. Funny if it wasn't crazy. I think both were restored, but how is the SEC supposed to research and work as a legal organization without its research platform? And how is the Treasury supposed to operate in federal? It can't access the federal dockets. Clearly, DOG still refuses to learn about line items before they cut them. Like I said, for us laymen, we don't understand
but the thing is,
significance
the
of
problem for us laymen, same thing with our smart people there. They're still not talking about the real issue, right? It's not like, how is this happening? Oh, this is so surprising. The Jays are doing what they've always said they were going to do. This is not a fucking... How is it my dumbass has been right for the last 2 years almost? How is it? In maybe May, April of 2023, maybe June at the latest, I started saying, if Israel doesn't do what they ended up doing on October 7th, by the end of the year, I gave them to the end of the year, then I'll quit doing live feeds altogether.
I think, from the legal community standpoint, those people are all, they have logical brains. They're all based in law.
They have regurgitating brains.
But it's all based on the laws of the land, and that's what they use for all of their arguments and future cases and whatever.
But the problem with that stuff, especially when you go case law, is there's always going to be a case law that goes against what you're saying and a case law that goes with what you're saying.
Well, and that's when you look at the extenuating circumstances and find the similarities. You're looking for comps, basically. But from where they sit, like, they knew that Trump was going to do all this stupid shit. But when he starts, like, breaking laws to create other laws that don't make sense, that community is, wait a second.
Yeah, but why are they just now doing this? This is what's been happening the whole fucking time.
Because people they truly believe that the laws are the laws and we're going to adhere to them.
Again, but that just becomes so subjective in our world. Obviously, the Trumps, the Epsteins, the if anybody else had the 2020 charges that Trump had, you should ask your buddy about that shit, right? You should ask him what he thinks about that. What happened with that? Why isn't that a thing? But like, the fact that, like I said before, like we are okay with the idea that certain people are just better than us, so they don't get to be held accountable like we do. And that's just, how did we get tricked into that?
If we get our fucking gas cut off, or we end up having to pay triple the amount because now we have to find a different source, get gas from another area or whatever. All those people that voted for Trump that are in those areas, like, what are you thinking? This shit wasn't going to come to your doorstep?
They're racist. They weren't thinking about that. Trump's whole platform was racist.
And sexist. Both.
Racist and stupid. But that's what they're counting on. The whole thing, like, as soon as Trump, his number one first argument was the borders. We have the worst borders. And it was like, what are you talking about? Nothing's happening. If the J News could have told us that South Americans and Mexicans were invading us the entire time Biden was president, they would have. If there was all this crime happening, then they would have told us about it and they would have blown it up.
I'd like to know how many abortions Trump personally has paid for in his lifetime and is now systematically getting. I'd like to know that.
Or thrown money at people and said, get an abortion. Well, we don't know if they were pregnant or not. That was right after the act.
Piece of shit. And people didn't see all this? Where the fuck were they? What did they not see the first 4 years he was here?
You said it. The Nazi. They're racist. See, my wife is better than I am, right? She just refuses to believe that everybody is as racist as they are. You know, and honestly doesn't even get like I've pointed out to her multiple times how her just like American sort of natural programming, she was racist. And she was like, no, I'm not. No, no, no. And then it was like, well, wait a minute. Maybe like thinking that Mexicans have more kids than everyone else. Like these are just statements that she didn't think about. This was years ago, by the way, years ago, but didn't think when she said it. But like that's how we're programmed to think. When I was a kid, and I told my dad about some Wiggers, and he was like, "What did you say?" And I was like, "The Wigger kids, you know, kids." They and as I'm explaining it, I'm like, they dress black. Oh fuck. So what do you think Wigger means? Okay, you're right. Like it was just that simple. When I was a kid, we used to go nigger knocking. That's what we called it. Where you would knock on the door and run away. I never thought anything of it. Most of the people we did it to were white, so I never made that connection. I didn't know it was just what it was called. Is what the other kids called it. Well, okay, I'm gonna call it that too. That's how racist we are without even thinking about it. When you think that black people can say the word nigga, but you can't say nigger because you're white. That's you being racist. You don't even realize it. You think you're being progressive and shit. You're not. You're playing into stupid stereotypes.
Oh, we're desensitizing the word. No, you're not. You're perpetuating it.
No, I don't have an issue with words at all. Like it's a word. The idea that we give that word that power is the problem. That's the MK Ultra brainwashing. You know, the essence of MK Ultra is that you get a phone call, you pick up hello, and they whisper, you know, the ducks on the moon are turned sideways when it's blue outside, or some goofy shit that nobody's ever gonna say to you, and it triggers you because you know you've already been kidnapped, you've already been through the institution, they've already they've compartmentalized your brain. This assassin, and this isn't like it sounds like conspiracy theory shit, right? But it's not. That's what MK Ultra did.
That word represents just as much hate as a Confederate flag.
No, it doesn't.
From the same time.
Again, I couldn't care less about a Confederate flag. I'd much rather you fly your Confederate flag and me know who you are than you be in this closet racist piece of shit who I gotta, you know, I interact with thinking you're not that. I'd much rather know who you are from the beginning. But the word comes through. You know, again, MK Ultra, they found ways to break people, break their brains. LSD, torture, you know, all kinds of shit. Deprivation, yeah, all kinds of shit. And it made it so you would have a separate personality. Your brain would break, and you wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't even know it. And they after they were done breaking you and programming you with whatever your mission was, they'd send you off into the world and you'd have forgotten about that you went through all that shit. You didn't even know. Phone call comes through. You suddenly go blank and you go carry out your mission. That's what Sirhan did. Sirhan's the guy that killed Bobby Kennedy. He doesn't deny killing Bobby Kennedy. He says, obviously, look, I was there. The pictures show it. Problem is, I'm at my house cleaning up. Phone rings. Next thing I know, people are taking pictures of me, and I'm holding the dead body of the president or the dying, presidential candidate. And you can see it in the pictures where he's looking up and he's like, "What the fuck is?" He doesn't look like psychopath killer. He looks like he's going, "What the fuck is happening here?" And he has all sorts of connections back in his history to MK Ultra. His shrink was the guy that was like directly associated in charge of MK Ultra, blah, blah, blah. And one of the greatest tricks they ever did, MK Ultra, again, MK Ultra is about tricking people into thinking something. Greatest thing they ever did was tricking us that they disbanded MK Ultra. They didn't disband shit. But what they've done is they've figured out a way that now, instead of needing a phone call, all you need to do is hear a word. You hear a word, and you forget that you could go to prison. You forget that you don't have the money to pay for good lawyers, or you forget that your children are standing there watching this, or you forget that you have children that need a father figure or a mother, whatever, to be there, not in prison. And you assault somebody, right? Now think about this. You assault the person, so now you get taken through the J system. Now you need a good J lawyer, the J judges, all the J court fines. You get sent to the J-owned prison or jail or whatever, or you have to go to some J anger programs or something. You're gonna have to pay out your ass to the J's. On the other side, the person you assaulted, well, they got to go to the doctor, the hospital, whatever it is. You know, J doctors, J insurance is all involved. J's make money on both sides of it. They've convinced black people to commit crime over a fucking word. A stranger can utter a word. There's a video I saw going around where it's a big black dude and his old white man are, I guess, in some sort of argument at a restaurant. And the white man goes, well, there's a difference between black people and niggers. And the big black dude just starts bow, 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 starts hitting him like crazy. You know what it reminded me of? You guys remember the riverboat thing that just totally disappeared?
Yeah.
Didn't I tell you that once it started to come out that the perpetrators weren't white, they were J, the thing would disappear? I told you. I told you. Yeah. I've got this on screen record. Good. Show it to as many people as you possibly can. Yeah. You're not bothering me at all. But think about that. Think about how that shit is. They've completely brainwashed people. You know, oh, back to the riverboat brawl. Sorry, I forgot. The riverboat brawl was this huge story that was like, and everybody talking, like people were walking around with a chair. The fucking New Day on WWE came out with a fucking white folding chair. You know, the white folding chair that fucking random thug hit the white woman with. I need to show them a disabled racist who never leaves his room. Well, if I'm disabled, isn't me not leaving my room sort of par of the course? Yo, the kids are definitely here. Not at school. And it's not totally legal. And we're not in a completely separate area anyway. Like, look at this desperation, right? Who is going to be this desperate? Tell me the random person that's going to be like, are you talking about? Oh, man, I don't like you. I can't argue anything you're saying, but I don't like. Who the fuck is going to do this? And who am I racist against? What racist are we talking about? I love when stupid people say stupid shit, man. It just makes it so much easier. How you know, this is the J's. This is their J bot bullshit. Exactly, Karen. Just another dumb J who not smart enough to actually debunk anything I'm saying. It's just that simple. It's like that. It's like Direct D and that Lane guy. Lane, I forgot his name already. Lane Meyer. You just see the stupid shit that they say all the time. I'm gonna get you in trouble. You're saying stuff. I don't like what you're saying. I can't debug it, so I'm gonna get you in trouble. I just find it fascinating, man. Like, how did they get? I guess it's Christianity. Christianity is the key. Because you say, how did they get the Goyim to be so subservient and see the problem, but just accept it? Like, it's just the way it is. This man has no life achievement, so he tears apart others to make himself feel better, says the troll. Says the troll talking shit on my live feed. Like, seriously. Is that not dumb, Jay? To the, like, they're so, this is, you can't open up the books on Israel. That will demonize Israel. It's that stupidity. Just, this person thinks that what they just said, this man has no life achievement, so he tears about others to make himself. Isn't that literally what you're doing? Like, literally, I don't know how you can be this stupid. If Israel was doing good shit, it couldn't be demonized. You couldn't demonize Israel if they weren't cutting and sucking baby penises. If they weren't committing genocide, then you couldn't demonize them for it. Seriously, how stupid. These are the dumb. How are we losing to these dumb fucking people? It's insulting. That's sort of that underlying feeling that, like, it's just like, this is stupid. Why are we losing to these guys? Yeah, every once in a while you're going to get a roided out freak like Goldberg, who's big and strong. Super dumb, though. Another guy who took his whole shit super seriously and would get mad if people made fun of him and stuff. Like the stories of Goldberg are just hilarious. And, you know, it's okay, though, because he's a big dumb J. Semitic Semitism. Yeah, no shit. That's all it ever is. It's Hollywoodism and it's Semitism. Why do you think it's the same ism? It's the same shit. If I made my wife watch Hollywoodism and it wasn't the fucking exact, if I've been saying this is the movie, this thing will answer all the questions, this points to the truth, this. I talk this shit up like I don't talk up anything else. Meaning if I don't deliver, then, you know, the first person that's going to call me out is my wife. Did I exaggerate at all when it comes to that movie?
No.
It's the most telling piece of footage you'll see.
It definitely answers a lot of questions.
And the most important aspect is that they made it.
And it's not one of those movies that you have to connect all the dots yourself. There's some of that, but the most part, it's pretty blatant and straightforward.
Yeah. You might have to watch it a couple times to get it.
There's a lot of information.
Right.
There's a lot of subtle statements in there that are like completely powerful that just get said in conversation. So
Because they're so used to saying it. It's such commonplace for them.
right. It's not new. It's like when I tell you, listen, you're going through this way too fast. People need to catch up. You know, they already have all the information,
Right.
so they
They
don't
already know.
realize how relevant some of those details are along the way.
Well, and they're stupid. They're basically, you know, if you open up the books, you're demonizing. That's basically the same mentality as, hey, let's just make a movie where we say everything.
Especially since a
not
lot
gonna
of
matter.
that information is stuff that regular people that haven't looked into it know at all.
No. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that you don't know it at all. I would say that you all know basically everything in that shit. You've just been so told throughout the years. Like, again, you watch it and you don't go, holy shit, I had no idea. It's more validation, and it just reminds you, like, you've heard your grandparents say something, you've seen it in shows, you've come across things throughout your life where people have talked about how the Jays control Hollywood, the Jays control the money, the Jays control the government, and you've just, because it, you know, and they've done a good job of telling you you're not allowed to think that way.
But the parts like,
The
where
World
they
War
flat
II
out
shit.
say that the American dream was created by that group, and it was their own dream.
Right.
That they, you know, stuff like that.
Right,
Or
right.
the stuff like
Yeah.
they partnered with the military. Regular people don't know this.
Right.
And that's not something that they knew deep down. They didn't know this shit.
Yeah.
And that just gets thrown in there like we already knew about it. So you do have to watch it a couple times, or at least pause it and maybe rewind a part or two to really hear it. Because a lot of it will be like, what? Wait, what?
Every time something like that happens, that's when you should rewind it.
I mean, they have
Every
a
time your
physical
brain-
contract with the fucking military.
Right. Every time your brain triggers to say, wait, what? Rewind it. Here, take it back 10, 15, 20 seconds, a minute.
But
Later.
yes, the majority is stuff that people joke about or whatever, maybe take seriously but don't really internalize.
Or
and
stuff you've heard the
digest that.
skinheads say, or the Farrakhan's, the nasty
Right.
skin, like the
But
bad guys.
There is some true eye-opener stuff that most people would never even have thought of.
Well, and the other part, the thing that I always say is if I made that movie and I used nothing but people of color to say every single line in that film the exact same way, except for they say we say they or them or something. That movie wouldn't be allowed to exist. They would cry this anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic tropes. You know? It's interesting to think they can say that stuff, and it's like it's no big deal. YouTube has been auto-starting random videos from my subs I have. Makes no sense. Does it make no sense? Karen, isn't it interesting to see someone like Matt, who is new and starting to get it, starting to get the interference that only comes from watching my videos, as well as starting to actually see it? You know, for years, when I would do this and I would talk about how my feed is screwed up, people would say, well, oh, is it your modem? It's your internet connection. It's your... But I just laugh, Oh, it's your Wi-Fi. Oh, it's this and that. It's like, dude, come on. Come on. Like, there's no modem. There's no Wi-Fi connection disability. It's real. Like, as soon as I open the app, oh my, that takes me back years. Exactly. Isn't it weird to see that? By the way, if you're watching, like, share, sub, do that shit. There's enough people on here that have been here for years, again, including my wife, that if I was sitting here selling porky pies, they call me out. Everything I talk about, you can go look for yourself. It's all there. You think you know what's going on until you start to realize, like, you've stumbled across a page that you've never experienced before. You've never experienced anything like this before. You think you've been watching truthers, you think this and that and the other. You've never been interfered with, had your family start to get weird phone calls and shit and all that because you watch somebody online. Not with Alex Jones, not with Anomaly, not with dumbass Todd Church, none of it. I was watching Direct D's video of his live feed, and he has the comment section up in the... None of this. They don't get any of it. It sounds like I'm like bragging or I'm like patting myself on the back and shit. And I guess in a sort of a way I am, but I wish I didn't have this brag. It'd be a lot better if I was just allowed to exist like everyone else is. But it's something I guess you just have to see for yourself because we've all been made to be so skeptical of our own. Like, again, it's weird. You'll believe in all the Jesus bullshit ever without any evidence whatsoever. And then act like I'm lying about some crazy shit that, like, it's not a good thing. None of this is good. Why would I lie about something that's not good? It doesn't benefit me at all. Literally, I get no benefit out of this. Beef! What's happening? I mean, between Beef and Matt, you guys were here prior to January 28th when I was averaging, 5 to 10,000 views or 3 to 10,000, anywhere between there. And then sometimes as high as 20. You saw it. What the fuck changed? Other than Trump came in and the policies changed like I said they would. Because actually, immediately after Trump came in is when my feed went from a steady 8 to 10 down to like 2 to 3. And then on the 28th, it just drops. What happened? Explain it in a way that makes any sort of sense. I can explain it in a way that I believe makes sense, which is the system interferes because they're terrified of someone like me getting the platform I'm capable of getting. But if it's not that, then what the fuck is happening? An important aspect of this is to stop saying, I don't know. To stop saying shit like it's weird. It's not weird. Some streams crazy busy, then others no views. I never had no viewers. Never. Not until recently. Not until since the 28th of January. Never. I mean, never. Like, there are older videos where I don't have it. But from Submarines Aren't Real #1 on, those are all banger videos. You have to stop saying shit like, I don't know, and it's weird. You do know. It's not even that weird. It makes sense. Like, if I was the system that was owned and operated by the dumb Jays who know that they're... I'm not wrong. There's nothing wrong with what I'm saying. They might not like it, but I'm not wrong. I would do what they do. I would censor shit, knock it way down. I wouldn't cut it off because, that makes it too obvious. And you can keep a good idea of what people like me are seeing and thinking. And, because I see things before other people do. So you have a good barometer of things. You can also, it's an example of what not to do. You send all your crazies here and, oh, he's crazy. So if anybody stumbles across it or whatever, then they get that, oh, I must be crazy too thing. Okay, none. But fuck off. Once they cloned my profile and then it communicated with you as me whilst leaving me locked out of my own account. Remember that day? Yeah. Well, of course I do. Of course I do. The thing is, like, how many times has that ever happened to any of you? Because you watch another profile and comment, and I agree. Somebody somehow clones your profile, starts interacting as you while locking you out of your profile. It's not your profile they're using. They've cloned it, but they're also locking you out of yours. How many times has that happened to any of you? For watching Alex Jones, for watching whoever. It hasn't. That's the answer. You've never experienced anything like what happens on my feed. And until you like, that's at the same time, you have to understand that is your evidence. The Trump's not going to get on here and be like, God, I don't like what you're doing. Yeah, it's Trump. Yeah, I don't like what you're doing, and we're going to interfere with your page. And then they're not going to come out here and say it. You're not going to see the news report where they're talking about how they fuck with Guy Williams. You have to be able to see some of this shit for yourself. It's just that simple, man. It's right there. Why else would I be this important? If I wasn't important, none of this shit would happen. I mean, show me the other person that deals with this. I've never seen it. I've seen other truther profiles. Like I said, I watched DIRECT today. None of this shit happens. He knows who his detractors are. They don't hide behind fake profiles and shit. Where does it come from? What is it? You know, at the end of the day, as an American, shouldn't you back me 100%? I'm the one saying we should stop. I've been saying we should stop giving our tax dollars to foreign countries like Israel for fucking ever. $3.8 billion. They get the second most amount of money, supposedly, next to Afghanistan. But Afghanistan, we know why Afghanistan is a thing. It's where all the heroin and the poppies are. So yeah, of course a bunch of money goes into that. I mean, it has to. That's how we keep that operation going. Did you know one out of the Rangers supporters are as stupid as the other two? Good old Jorge, good old Team Jorge. Again, if it's not Team Jorge, what is it? Or at least a version of Team Jorge, because Team Jorge is just one. Team Jorge is just one. Israeli black ops organizations, highly funded operations run by former Israeli secret, or not even former, Israeli Secret Service members, that their sole purpose is cyber, is social media and cyber attacks and all that shit. Like, there's no lying here. There's no mystery here. Bro has had a mass following. Just read a statistic. Tell me what I'm wrong about. So now we have two of the trolls that are now conversing with each other because, you know, somebody has to say that they're right, right? Because they're not right. But if they stroke each other in their little circle jerk, then it's okay. Is anybody surprised that one troll is agreeing with another troll about shit that has nothing to do with what we're talking about? Decent has descended into using emojis to draw attention away from the topic. As often. It's what it is. It's what it. So why? That's the thing. That's the thing. The people that see it, why do you think it's happening? It does make sense. It's not like it's, confusing or whatever. And if I'm not a targeted individual, then what the fuck is the point? Who are these people that spend their lives on me because they hate me so much? Oh, I'm a 16-year-old. I'm not at school. No, why would I be at school? Like, who are these fucking... Who are the people that think, no, we need to keep being J slaves. Genocide's a good thing. Pedophilia is a good thing. We just need to keep all that going. This is stupid. Yep. Must be my IQ, not ad hominem. It's my IQ now that's in question, not the things we're talking about. I love how the trolls are denying that I'm targeted. How is that? Like, that's if you open up the books on Israel, you demonize Israel. How does it even make sense to anyone? Other than the way I say it makes sense. Nah, you're totally imagining it. Obviously. Video after video. Same troll after same troll. Over and over again. Fucking, how does it make sense to anyone any other way? I guess, at the end of the day, a lot of us do believe that a lot of us are huge losers. So maybe that's what it is. People are just willing to say, yeah, well, a lot of people are losers, so. I mean, seriously. This whole new Trump legislation denying free speech to college campuses. The leaders of tomorrow are being punished for protesting genocide. It's not like we're just protesting this good country who helps everybody and does things for the world. The protesting is against genocide. They've got a good team, dedicated. I'll give them that. They got work to do. They got to make their money. I mean, granted, they're dumb Jays, but most of it is bot bullshit. Most of it's bot bullshit. But yeah, of course they do. They have endless money. Endless free money to do whatever they want to do with. No regulation, no oversight, nothing. $3.8 billion a year turns into 15 billion shekels? Yeah, go right ahead. Oh, they need another $3.1 billion in weapons. Let's give it to them. What?
Ford Road yesterday.
Okay. It's just phenomenal, man. It really is phenomenal. To think that I've been laser focused for quite some time now. And it's like I'm saying, as we drive up this road, we have to make a left turn or else we're going to go off the cliff. We have to make a left turn or else we're going to go off a cliff. We have to make a left turn or else we're going to go off to a cliff. And people are just, nah, nah, nah. And then we get to that turn, and it's like, you guys see it, right? We got to make this turn. I've been telling you about this turn. There hasn't been a right turn that's come up. There's no bridge. There's no tunnel. There's nothing. The only option is it ended up being that we had to make a left turn. And you guys still deny it. Anything else could have happened. Any other country could have blown up into a giant genocidal fucking situation, and I would have been wrong. And then, since that's happened, anything else could have happened. There could have been a bunch of videos that come out of Israel showing how Israel is being victimized by this whole situation. There could be videos of intelligent Israel supporters or Israelis, breaking down all of the negative stereotypes and showing how people have these misconceptions and they're wrong about this and that. The president could have said, hey, free speech is a right that, America, it's all about free speech, and there's no way I'm going to shut down these college campuses' rights to free speech. And all of that could have happened, and I would have been wrong. And yet, I haven't been wrong. I haven't been wrong. Think about how insane that is. Think about, it's like if I would have, how many days in a row do you think I could win the lottery before I'd start to get investigated by somebody for And that's basically what it is.
If he won one more time, I bet you they'd be investigating him. He's won twice. It was millions, but 800,000.
But it's not like I haven't taken a loss. Every single time I play the lottery, I win. That's not possible. That's not possible by chance, at least. I would have to be right. I would have to have some sort of knowledge as to what's going on, some foreknowledge of what's going on. I never say anything about being some sort of psychic, having some sort of magic powers or anything like that. It's obvious. There's no need for any of it because it's obvious. It's crazy. So stupid. I hate these stupid shows. Oh man, it's so scary. So scary. It's weird being right. I can't tell you how much October 7th affected me. Because it had anticipated. But still I was right. And I had people that had talked their shit prior to coming through and telling me, yeah, I guess you were right about that. How did you know? Blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it comes down to if you're a piece of shit or not. Are you a piece of shit or are you not a piece of shit? Do you support genocide or do you not?
She's walking with him.
I couldn't care less about, the Palestinians themselves, the people, yes, their beliefs, their stupid brainwashing, whether they're Christian or Muslim or whatever. That shit's all just, we got to fix that too. This isn't even you guys never hear me say free Palestine. It never happens. Because it's not about free Palestine. There is no free Palestine. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. And free Palestine is only this thing that people say because it's like they want to say fuck Israel, but they don't think they're allowed to. But this is all just, it's, like there's no, if they call me a Hamas supporter, I laugh. Like, there is no Hamas. That's fucking stupid. It's just, Hamas is Al Qaeda. It's just Israel's version of Al Qaeda. ISIS, whichever one you want to say. It's just stupid. It's just fake bullshit. That whole narrative is fake, dumb bullshit. But I will say, if Hamas was real, you better believe I'd be a Hamas supporter. At the same time, not really understanding what, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Hamas doesn't make any sense. They have a 0% success rate when it comes to actually inflicting any sort of lasting damage. All that ever happens, anytime anybody supposedly shoots rockets into Israeli airspace, not at Israel, but into Israeli airspace, 99.9% of them get shot down. The 0.1% are the missiles that the system has scanned and decided they won't hit anything important, so they let those ones fall. But as soon as that happens, there were 3 missiles fired at Israel from this direction. Israel has already responded by hitting 10 previously planned targets with their already fueled up and ready jets and already loaded everything, almost like they were planning on it. It's the same fucking narrative over and over again. You just have to understand how how manufactured and manipulated the whole thing is. And it really does come down to that old stereotype that the Jays control Hollywood. That's one of those ones we all know. We all know the Jays control Hollywood. So what do you think the news is? You think the news isn't part of Hollywood? They just happen to be able to put together a brand new show every 24 hours. All the graphics, all the videos, everything all lined up and perfect. It's perfect. Every 24 hours, it just bloop, bloop, bloop. It's fucking stupid. It really is. Like, we are just completely distracted, controlled, manipulated by this system. And we know it. But they 72% of the United States population drinks water. So, sure, that might have something to do with it. He could work a toll booth. Yeah, that's why I don't sit down the whole time, right? And at the toll booth, I'd be allowed to smoke my pain medication all day, right? But look at how desperate people are. Desperately trying to find something other than, dealing with what's being talked about. Can you imagine being that stupid? Yeah, my dad cheated on my mom, but at least he never wanted to bang me. Yeah, that's true. Is it wrong to be more attracted to your daughter than your wife? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, really fucking wrong, you sicko.
It's unbelievably gross. That's some Jay bullshit if I've ever heard it.
Oh, did they? Oh, he picked the Saturday Night Live.
It's just horrendous, man. And again, does anybody think it's anything other than dumb Jays who are here trying everything they can to shoot the messenger instead of the message? Like, why else would anyone else? Why else? What naysayers are going to be on the page that I only have 10 viewers, right? I'm a nothing. It's not that I'm being censored. I'm just a nothing. So why would these pedos come on here, talk their shit so they can get acknowledged? Like, is that you spend hours of your life on me because I'm wrong? And we're not going to address which parts I'm actually wrong about, just that I'm wrong. Like, it's just silly. It's fucking silly, man. It shows you how desperate and stupid they are. I can't stress to you enough, they're not in control of us because they're smarter than us. They're in control of us because they're more ruthless than we are, more cunning than we are, more manipulative than we are. Access to shit we just don't have. But that's what, like if Israel was right and was good and the Jays were good, do you think that they would make it illegal to talk about it? You know, you only go out of your way to stop people from talking about something when they're right and you can't do anything about it. I mean, it's literally the same shit as I see in my feed, right? Right? You know, if the system could put out some documentary, some series, they could have some Jays in a debate. If they could say, hey, okay, protesters, we know you're stupid, so we're going to give you a platform and we're going to have a panel of Jays here and you're going to have a debate with the Jay leaders or with the pro. Like, this would be great ratings. The pro-Israel supporters versus the anti-Israel. They're not pro-Hamas. I love how the system, again, that's like calling me a meth head, right? Saying that the protesters are pro-Hamas. They're not pro-Hamas. I think they're pretty loudly and proudly anti-Israel. But that's not how the Israelis that control your news want you thinking. They want you thinking that these guys are pro-terrorist group. That's why, I mean, we're arresting them because they're pro-terrorist group. You know? It's just, it's so stupid. And again, when it comes down to, you know, showing the other side, like October 7th. October 7th was as manufactured as it can be. No Israelis were killed on October 7th. And no Israelis were taken hostage. As having an opinion means hate speech to you. No, that's just what you have to say. First of all, what is hate speech? That's such a, again, it's such a brainwash trick. I'm not allowed to talk about things I don't like or I hate. Well, first of all, I'm not allowed to hate things. I'm not allowed to hate them. I've never heard anyone say, you know, during the 2001, the whole Afghan, don't hate Muslims. If you talk bad about what Muslims are supposedly doing, that is hate speech. You know, you never hear any nonsense. The only time you hear nonsense like that is when it comes to them. Hate speech. You're not allowed to say things about this kind of hate, which is the only way that you cure it, right? The only way you can cure someone's hate is by having them express it, and then you smash it in every way you can. Well, you're wrong about this, and you're wrong about that. And you get them to see that what they're thinking, what's facilitating that hatred is wrong. And then they go, oh shit, I guess I was mistaken on that one. I don't, Let's see. And they said about you. I don't give a fuck what these people say about me. Are you kidding me? Of course they're going to report for hate speech. What else can they do? They're not going to educate me. No, dude, you're actually wrong about this or you're wrong about that. And it's hate speech when a goyim talks about what they're doing. I mean, again, it's just they can't help but tell on themselves. They can't help but out themselves. It's disgusting. And I keep trying to tell you, don't waste your fucking time. Why waste your time arguing with bots or dumb Jays? It's pointless. The thing is, the most hate-filled people in the world are the Jays. They're so hate-filled right now that some of them are committing genocide while the rest of them are supporting it. Some of which, a large portion of which, are renting boats so that they can go down the rivers and watch as planes drop bombs and shit on civilian areas. And every time a bomb blows up, they chant and they scream and cheer. Those are some good people there, huh? That's true. And bro, how come you ignore half of my comments, then don't let me do what I want? You're not my dad. They're starting and annoying. Oh, I can speak, obviously. I don't take bots seriously, but some are humans too. And you can say whatever you want. And I didn't read half of your comments. I read all the comments that I can see from you. But now you're trying to tell me not to do what you're doing. It's just stupid. And when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you in general. Nobody should waste their time on these guys. What if you understand that they get paid by the response? Every time they can get somebody to respond to them, they get paid more. Do you get that? You're falling for it. Yep, I block everybody. Look at this. Look at this desk. The people that do nothing but talk shit are claiming I'm going to block somebody. Oh, Jesus. Again, if you open the books on Israel, you demonize Israel. I guess most people do have interpretation issues because that's not what's happening at all. Okay. You know what? I guarantee, Matt, you know more about what's going on here than I do, for sure. Although you're new, you know way more about it than I do. You keep going. Like, if you're somebody that honestly thinks that there are just regular people that are coming here to talk nonsense, to prove my point for hours a day, every single day, month after month, year after year, if you honestly think there are real people doing that, I mean, do you believe in Santa Claus too? Like, you're being foolish. They're tricking you and you're falling for it. These aren't real fucking people. And you wonder why you lose people, guilt trip, and yep. You don't like what I'm saying to you, so instead of telling me what I'm wrong about, you're crying. What a surprise. Didn't you already say that I lost you because you're a bigot when it comes to gay people? Didn't you already claim I lost you and then showed back up like 2-3 days later? Obviously, I don't care. It's funny too, because again, you can go back and look, and in Matt's comments, he talks about how it's weird and that my page has been interfered with. But now it's just that I'm losing people because I'm saying something you don't like and can't answer. That must be it. Yep, on January 28th, I just lost thousands of people, all in one day. Thousands and thousands of people. Oh, man. Oh, now I'm supposed to keep going with this one, huh? Oh, look, we're getting doxxed. Oh, that's not strange at all. Why are we getting doxxed? If I'm not doing anything or saying anything wrong, why am I getting doxxed? These pedos. These are pedos, right? Just like Matt is showing another example of this. These pedos don't like, these J pedos don't like when I'm saying things that go against them. So instead of actually being able to tell me what I'm wrong about, because I'm not wrong, they start desperately trying to dox or talk shit or whatever. It's all the same. Where does it come from? Does it make sense to anybody? Does it make sense to anybody listening that the things that I'm saying warrant regular old non-J Americans to get this crazy? How many Americans love the idea that their tax dollars go to Israel? First world country does not need our money for anything. That our tax dollars, instead of fixing our roads, instead of helping our veterans, instead of helping the homeless, instead of helping the children, instead of helping the women, instead of anything like that, we give it to Israel to murder people. You Americans, you all like that about your tax dollars? You're definitely not lying about being tired of being a woman. You really ain't. Yeah? No, I lose people, right? It's because I say things that makes me lose people. It's not I'm being targeted, interfered with, censored. That's not the case, right? If they wanted me to, if they wanted to let me, my feed would be at 100 views in no time. You know? They should just prove me right real quick to show what's up. And then just shut it back off tomorrow. Or whatever. You know, give that flex real quick. Experienced hackers, exactly. So who are the experienced hackers? Team Jorge, Black Cubes, or what is it? The Black Cube. A guy called Barbink was the former head of the Israeli cybersecurity apparatus. He was interviewed by Al Jazeera prior to October 7th. Very, very near October 7th, but prior to October 7th. And he said that Israel has its systems set up to find anyone talking about Israel, that bunch of keywords. Israel, Palestine, all that stuff. Once the thing is flagged, they then go and look. They have their human part, the human part go look. The human part, he must be talking to her. The human part, then, contacts, they says they contact Facebook, which I don't know how anybody contacts Facebook, but they do. And that Facebook, quote, usually complies with the request to take the thing down or to shadow ban the person or whatever it is. When the reporter from Al Jazeera did that story, he had some 200,000 or 200 million. I don't remember how many. It was a fuck ton of people following his Facebook page. He didn't mention anything about the story on his Facebook page. And the day after the story ran, he woke up and his Facebook page was gone. All 200, I think it was 200 million people. No tell, no this is why, nothing. Gone. The guy that does the story where he interviews the former head of the Israeli cybersecurity apparatus who leaks or tells or whatever that Israel controls social media, the following day he loses his fucking social media.
Disgusting.
There's no the thing about it too is it really started it's stupid Israel where they start putting out stories claiming that Facebook is shadow banning people who support Israel, not realizing that they're acknowledging the concept of shadow banning. Right? Like that's just how stupid they are. So they're having this conversation next to the random guy playing saxophone where there's nobody. Why would he be playing saxophone there? Yeah. The thing is, when I talk, I bring up names, I bring up actual instances, I bring up stories that you can go look up for yourself. It's not just dumb shit. Oh, I hate these. Look at their big noses. I hate them for their big noses. Give a fuck. I've always said anybody that was raised in that cult, that happened to be inbred to look like that horrible look, but you were raised in that cult, and you say, hey, I don't want anything to do with that shit. I am equal for everyone. We're all here together. It's one verse. You know, it's us versus them. That person is a champion. That person is elevated. That person does get some favor. What? I can't even think of it right now. Policy or predisposition favorable. They get that. Because they left the cult. Leaving the cult takes an incredible amount of strength, so much so that you don't really see anybody. Right? You'll see the actors that are out there.
Why would you give up advantage for disadvantage?
You see the actors out there that are supposedly the Jays against what's going on. The Jays against the genocide. You know? A lot of those are actors. Some of those might be some people having existential crises. I mean, you do see a lot of these goofy crises. You see a lot of these goofy penguins, you know, in their full getup talking about this, that, and the other. But it's like, dude, come on. You have to leave the whole thing. The cult is the problem. It's not this one incident or that incident. It's the idea that you think you're fucking God's chosen people. That the rest of us are goyim. Like it's that. It's like, you know, oh, well, you stopped doing the genocide. Hey, are you guys still doing the baby penis cutting and sucking? Yeah? Okay, well, that's a problem. These are real life fucking crazy ass bullshit things, man. We have to see this. Look at this nonsense. Not a single person can say anything about what's going on here. They can't say anything. They just stupid. Like, it's crazy to me that how stupid people enjoy pointing out how stupid they are. That's wild. You know, when you go into a conversation where people are talking about one thing and you can't talk about that thing, you don't know enough, so you start talking about other shit. Like, that's not acceptable in any form of conversation. You know? If two people were having a conversation and you walked up and started talking about something completely different, they'd be like, excuse me, we're having a conversation here. Like, what are you doing? If somebody was giving a presentation about, physics, blah, blah, blah bullshit. And then they had the question and answer thing at the end. Or even somebody interrupted and was like, hey, how do you like your omelets made? They'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? What does that have to do with anything? Get this person out of here. But, the way I see it is, again, most of these are bots. Most of these are J's. And so letting you see that they have no argument for what I'm saying is validating what I'm saying. If I was wrong, they'd point it out. They're quick to point out things they don't like. And if I was wrong about anything, they would just revel in that shit. But they can't. It's over and over again. It's the same shit. You have to see it. I'm going to keep pointing it out because a lot of new people they have no idea what they're looking at. They're seeing something they've never seen before. Like, what the fuck? This guy's talking about real life, big picture shit, and these fucking weirdos want to keep talking about him. What's so important about this guy that these people want to talk about him over anything else? It's interesting, man. It's really interesting. And it tells you what you need to see. It's just like Hollywood, or Hollywoodism, Hollywoodism's going to tell you everything you need to see. Are you going to see it? I don't know.
Oh my God, this Livonia special education teacher.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Livonia people that's in our Redford group has a special needs son who's 5. He's nonverbal autistic. And him and 2 other students were in her class, and they put cameras in there because accusations were being made, and this fucking bitch was making them eat hand sanitizer for spitting or having excessive saliva, putting bleach on their hands to keep them from putting their fingers and hands in their mouth, and pulling them by their ears when they wouldn't listen or follow directions. She resigned on Friday in Livonia.
It's great.
Wow.
These are stories for other people. I don't care. It's a horrible story and it's all that shit, but there's too much, whys and all these things that will just lead back to the same thing I'm talking about. And until we override the system, till the Goyim unite and override the J system, shit like this is gonna happen. This bitch resigns? Okay, well, don't you go to prison now?
I'm sure they're going after her.
Right, well, she's not been arrested yet.
Today's Wednesday.
It's just it's also telling. The narrative is there. There's one of the things that they've done is convinced us that the conspiracy is why do you think they put out those movies, the National Treasures movies and shit like that? Remember? Tom Hanks and whatever. Tom Hanks is the Da Vinci Code, and Nick Cage is the what's the other one? What did I just say? The Da Vinci Code and the National Treasures, right? Why do you think they put those videos out, those movies out, those big blockbuster fucking Hollywood big time, big budget movies out? Because the underlying theme of that movie or those movies is the clues are super. It's you gotta be a detective. You gotta look at the fountain at the right time of day. You gotta go to this secret place in the world and then put the key in and turn it just this far and say the exact phrase at the right time and click your heels. There's no place like home. There's no They've convinced you that the conspiracy is some really, really complicated thing that you're too dumb to figure out. You know what? You're too dumb. Here's a Jesus. You just go ahead and go in your house, shut your blinds, and pray that your Savior comes for you. Not that, you go turn yourself into the Savior. No. And anybody who claims to be the Savior is crazy. But you got to just wait. The Savior is going to come. You got to pray for your salvation because you can't do it yourself. Oh my God, Dave! Dave's crazy. You mean Nick Cage? Goofball? Those movies don't tell you it's something simple. Trump comes out and says that there's a deep state. It's not the government you can see. It's the deep state. It's the secret government. You believe that they go behind closed doors and worship Satan and blah, blah, all this other shit. Instead of just saying, hey, that group that says they're better than everyone and is above the law and all that? Yeah, they do all those really bad things. Yeah, well, they do even worse things behind closed doors. And then they use your stupidity against you to protect themselves. Does that sound super complicated? I mean, literally, that's what schools do, right? Schools take you believe one thing, you believe this. You come in, the schools take that part out of you, put this part in, and then tell you you're not allowed to question it. You have to believe this or there's something wrong with you. And you're like, yeah, but what about these things and this? Nope, none of that. And then if you start to say, well, hey, what about that whole Rockefeller thing and who controls our education? Who writes our books? Who doesn't? No, don't answer those questions. I love the idea that people are stupid enough to dox. If I'm wrong, why do they dox me? How does that make sense to anybody? These saviors that you're supposed to pray for, the salvation, like we had a great example of it, right? So the city decided that they were going to go around and replace the sidewalks everywhere. The sidewalks are not your property. They're actually city property. Even though you're responsible for it, it's not your property. So what they did is they had somebody come around and without any explanation of what the criteria was, they decided how many of the squares in front of your house need to be replaced. Each square was $250 to replace, and you didn't have any say in it. Not to mention, you weren't allowed to replace those things yourself. Say you knew somebody or you knew how to do it yourself, you weren't allowed to. The city had to do it, and you had to pay the $250 per square, even if you're on a corner lot. Like the people that live in this neighborhood, they don't have fucking thousands of dollars just in the bank account just waiting for fucking the city to take it from them. Now, some of these people got hit with like 10 squares and shit. And so our neighbor, she got hit with like 4 squares. She didn't have $1,000. So instead of her going door to door, calling upon going to the city council meeting instead of going door to door, and or even going Facebook wise and creating a campaign like, hey, this is what we pay our taxes for. They can't do this to us. And if we as a community would have went to the city and said, we're not paying this. This is what our tax dollars are for. If you're going to do this, then none of us are going to pay. None of us. They wouldn't have done it. Not only will none of us pay, we will all go out of our way to ensure not one of you is reelected next time. They wouldn't do it. But instead, she goes in her house and she prays that the Savior comes and does it for her. Savior, come fix this. Savior, come fix this. I want, 6.5 to 7 billion people on this planet to die so I can go to heaven early. Maybe. It's just, that was her solution, was to go pray about it. And she spent hours and hours praying about it. And at the end of the day, got stuck with the fucking bill. Nobody paid it for her. No church group, heard through the grapevine that she was struggling and they needed, nothing. Not a fucking thing. And it's obvious what it all is. It's there. That's why you believe in Jesus. That's one of the reasons. It's so that kind of shit happens. The other reason is obviously so you believe the Jays are God's chosen people, Jesus the King of the Jays, blah 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 blah.
Oh my God! You don't want another vaccine story, do you?
Nope. Somebody saying their shit. Yep. Got another Gardasil story? Yep. They all hearted. They sharded. Yeah, it's crazy. These Gardasil stories, well, we just can't talk about them. Just can't talk about them.
Oh my God, look at what it just suggested to me as a friend. George!
Wow. That is... How?
I don't know.
That just shows... There's literally no way other than you guys were at the same place at the same time one time.
And then he's another suggestion. I've deleted him off the suggestions so many times. That was creepy.
It's not though. I mean, it is, but it's like...
The reminders are creepy. You know it's happening.
Yeah, how much more do you need to see? How much more do people need? How much... Trump just threatened the next generations of leaders, everyone. This is not just the rich schools. This is across the world. I've been telling you guys the whole time, these protests have been happening. Just because the news isn't covering them like they were doesn't mean they're not happening.
You guys have no idea how in 5-10 years overrun the orphanages are going to be. Overrun.
That's how they repopulate.
Kids, the homelessness and children, it's going to get so bad. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad they're getting rid of abortion. Really? Do you understand what the ramifications of that are going to be?
First of all, just because they're getting rid of it legally doesn't mean they're getting rid of it.
There's that. There's all the women that are going to die that their abortion does not mean they're killing their fetus. Their abortion means they're saving themselves because the baby is already gone.
What is all the legislation said about the men who get those women pregnant?
Nothing. They're fine.
Oh,
They're absolved.
Good. I wouldn't want them to get in trouble. Yeah.
Or the people that are forced to have children and then abuse and neglect them, or kick them out and they're homeless, or give them up to adoption,
Or sell them.
sell them. Oh my God, it's gonna get so.
That's where it comes from. That's what it's all about.
Right. That's exactly what.
Filling up the fucking. See,
We've been cracking down on trafficking. We've been more aware.
86%.
So, easy. So now they're just gonna make them.
86% of the people that 86% of the kids that are involved in some sort of trafficking situation come back to CPS in some way or another. It's horrible. It should be affecting you. It should be. Hopefully it affects you enough to do something, to say something.
Fight against Trump.
Because you personally can't, but we can. We outweigh them or outnumber them astronomically. They are such a small percentage. They make up 0.183% of the world's population, 2% of the U.S. population.
We exposed their Epstein Island and that whole part of the octopus. They had to find another way to place that tentacle.
We didn't expose shit. We didn't expose anything. They gave it to us. There's only one reason why we knew about Epstein.
It was a whistleblower, I'm sure, that they couldn't contain.
No. We knew about Epstein because that's part of the play. It's the same thing as Robert Maxwell. Robert Maxwell, that character that they play is supposed to die. And then that $500 million plus that they have to their name will get transferred to somebody else next time. These are Israeli operatives. There's not a literal thing that we know about them is fucking like the real story. Other than maybe Epstein's egg-shaped penis.
You don't even know if that's true.
No, you know that's true. You see when it's brought up. If somebody says to me, I'm in a deposition, they say you have an egg-shaped penis, I'm not going to go, this interview's over. I'm going to be like, fuck no, that's fucking weird. What are you talking about? No, everybody would. Everybody would. Epstein didn't. Egg-shaped penis is pretty fucking pacific there. 84% over here are reintroduced to the system as adults. Very similar, huh? Because it's a one world government. It's a one world system. Why do people think everyone has flags? And most of the flags are a variation of the same template. What do you think that's just like, as a leader of a country, you're like, fuck yeah, we need a flag. A flag with weird symbolic bullshit on it. Fuck yeah. What? We need a national anthem? Okay, we have a national anthem. Lots of brass instruments and shit. Something like that. Yeah, we gotcha. We'll do that too, even though we don't like you. If the whole Gaza fucking genocide with literally no one, no Middle Eastern countries, nobody, no countries anywhere are coming to the aid of the Palestinians, and you still don't think it's a one world government? How else can you explain it? Not Switzerland, not Denmark, not China, no random African country, no random South American country, nothing, nobody is coming to the aid of an open fucking genocide. bragged about, broadcast on every TV station, everywhere you go. The fucking 700 Club does nothing but cover it.
Bring your family into the financial future. Now return to more classic cartoons. Here we go again on TV.
Why do you suppose it works this way? Because I'm wrong. Me saying it's a one world government and it's all bullshit and you know the Jays that's wrong. So if I'm wrong, then what else is it? Blame that on the Brits, baby. Flags, national anthem, small one. It's not the Brits. It's not the Brits. See the big challenge is the whole Tartaria part of it. I am 100% convinced of resets. I don't think you can convince me of otherwise. You know, once you see, it's hard to unsee. Doing my lines, guys. Doing my lines. Ugh. But the idea of the Brits is just as manufactured as anything else, if not more. I mean, if you go look at London, you go look at France, you go look at any of these old world cities, and you just look at the architecture everywhere. It's, I mean, you know, going down the River Thames is just incredible city block building after city block building and shit. Like, whatever the history is that we have of Britain, of the British, it doesn't cover all that. It's fake as fuck. Resets are the only sensible viewpoint, really. It's true. It's true. You can't any more of this. Because, I mean, if you're Stan Lee, then that's, you know, he's a dumb J. So, why anybody would identify as some dumb J, I don't know. But what is hard to understand about any of this? Do you think you can explain how they built all that shit? Just no problem, huh? Most of it done in a year. Played this video for you guys the other day where a guy broke AI. He was asking AI about Yankee Stadium and the claim that it was built in a year. And then he you know, asked AI to break it down logistically and how it was logistically possible, and eventually gets AI to acknowledge that it's not logistically possible to say that the humans of that time were capable of building that building in that time frame. We wouldn't even be capable of doing it. And eventually AI got mad and quit on him. It's pretty funny. British did a good job with divisive work of the flags and the legs. So we're told. That's what I'm saying. As far as the whole notion of the British putting the flag idea out there, we only know that because they tell us that. You know, everything prior to, I mean, everything over, I've been saying this for well over a decade now, decades almost. Anything over 100 years old is hearsay. And the truth is, everything that you expect, everything is hearsay to you and I, unless you just happen to be there. Like a friend of mine happened to be there in Mannheim 2 days ago, and was involved in the accident. Like he said if he wouldn't have done what he did, he would have got hit. He saw the whole thing. I should play you guys those messages and shit. Let's see, I'll play this one message for you. Because I asked him, did you get a good look at the driver?
The only thing I can say, he didn't look German. They put it out said he was German, but you know, in Germany, whatever passport you possess, that's the nationality they address you by. but he did not look German.
Here, guys.
Hey, bro. Yeah, what happened is some guy, it's like it's Mardi Gras type day.
Wait, can you guys hear that shit, actually? I don't know. Here.
Hey, bro. Yeah, what happened is some guy, it's like it's Mardi Gras type day today. And I haven't been in Manheim in a long time. I was dropping off a friend to pick up his car, so I decided to go into the city and just walk around and look. And I'm coming out of this one store, and I want to cross over to go to this other store. And this lady's at the end of the street. And this lady is in my way. She's pushing a stroller, and I try to move around her, but I just couldn't get around her because the people was coming. We're crossing, the other people crossing the other direction. And so what I did in her ear, I went like bitch. And so I just decided to keep walking on the sidewalk where I'm at, and I crossed the street further up. Once I cleared the bus stop, I said I crossed the street. And then right when I said that, I looked up, I seen this car heading straight towards everybody. I'm thinking, oh my God, this guy's gonna hit everybody. He's gonna kill someone. And then the impact, boom. And right when I hear the impact, I feel something hit me in the chest. And I look down, and I'm like, wow, what is this? Is it a purse? Is it a shoe? What is this? And I'm looking around, everything moving slow. Debris and clothing and everything is being dropped from the sky. I seen some flowers, and I didn't see the lady no more. And I'm like, fuck, what's going on? What's going on? I'm trying to figure out. And people are coming around me, like, ask me what's happening. I'm all right. And I'm thinking, like, get the hell away from me. I'm okay. Get away from me. What are you doing? And this guy is staring at me. And I'm telling him, like, what the hell are you staring at? Get away. And I'm thinking, like, maybe I got a hole in my head. Maybe there's something stuck in my forehead. Maybe my chest is blown out. I don't know. So I start touching myself, and I start moving my feet to see what is this in front of me, what's going on. And then when I realized, okay, there's no blood, there's no trauma on me, I told him, I said, don't look at me, go help the people, move. And then I'm thinking, like, where's my car? Where's my car? Because I know how it works. They're going to block off the whole city. And I think, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And my friend called me, and I told him, he like, yeah, I ain't hear nothing on the radio. I don't believe it. I said, hang up. I'm going to call you back FaceTime. Then I'm showing him. And I'm trying to think, like, where is my car? And so I'm just walking around trying to find my car. My daughter calls me, and I'm talking to her while I'm trying to find my car. And then I finally find my car, and I get out of the city. And then once I get out of the city, all this stuff is just like, what's going on? What's going on?
Crazy shit, man. That shit is crazy. Isn't that fucking crazy? Isn't that crazy? And so I asked him, I said, did it look like a J driving? Did it look like an Israeli driving? And he said he didn't look German. Whatever passport you have in here, that's your identity but he didn't look German. Pretty fucking weird, right? That's some crazy shit. And of course, the eyewitness narrative is going to be different than the narrative we're given. Strange. It's the exact same thing that's happening, that happened here on New Year's, a Mardi Gras situation. I don't know if because it was a white dude. No, it wasn't a white dude. It was a. He looked Indian. Maybe it was Pakistani, maybe. But of course, he had his ISIS flag all bunched up for some reason. He's going to do his terrorist attack to cause as much terror as possible, but it's not going to fly the ISIS flag off the back. Like, what kind of stupid shit is that? Some wild shit, man. You know, the crazy part is, the day before that happened, Germany had urged Israel to stop shooting at and killing aid workers. That was the headline. Germany urges Israel to stop shooting, killing, whatever, aid workers. Germany speaks out, says, hey, come on, stop doing that. And one of these situations happens. I've been telling you guys for years, whatever crazy shit happens here, go read Israeli news that day and just see if it matches up. If something crazy happened in Israel that day and it's not being talked about because of this thing instead. Like Shireen Abu Akleh, right? Shireen Abu Akleh was killed on a Tuesday, I believe. Either Monday or Tuesday. She was a 20-year veteran of the press. She was a highly, highly regarded member of the Palestinian press, but she was a Palestinian American citizen, right? Palestinian American citizen. I had a grocery store. They smell. And he only had dryer sheets and cheese in his car. And they hit me. She was with Al Jazeera, I believe, and they were covering an incident where the Israelis had killed a bunch of people. But the incident was well over. And Shireen was, there's actually video of it. She was walking with a colleague of hers up the road to go look at something or do something. They both had bulletproof vests on that said press, kind of like my shirt, but it says press, as well as a special like flak bulletproof helmet, whatever, that said press on it as well. It's clear as day she's press. Suddenly, a sniper bullet hits her in the face. And as she falls down, bleeding out, dying on the ground, her friend runs off. Obviously, there's fucking bullets being shot. Her friend hides behind a tree or whatever. Yeah, her friend hides behind a tree because Shireen was on the left. The friend was on the right. The friend ducked behind the tree and she's trying to help. She can't, because every time somebody tries to help Shireen, bullets are fired at the ground all around her to keep people away. Eventually, somebody is able to sort of get to her. It's proven that the only place that there were Israeli vehicles stationed up the road a bit that had a perfect sight line to be able to shoot at her. But until they couldn't deny it anymore, the Israelis claimed it was actually Hamas, or it was actually Palestinian militants that killed her. It was this, it was that, it was everything other than the targeted attack it actually was. The following day, her brother is kidnapped by the IDF and told that they are not to have the traditional sort of funeral, because anytime someone as big as her is killed, is martyred, the Palestinian Christians have a tradition of carrying the casket from the church to the cemetery while they sing songs and they mourn the way they do. He was told that they weren't allowed to do that, that no one was allowed to fly Palestinian flags, and that they weren't allowed to sing Palestinian songs. Oh, by the way, the day that she was killed was the grocery store shooting, where the obviously military trained man who filmed it himself went to a black neighborhood grocery store, had a body cam or something on, and every time he pulled the trigger, he shot and killed somebody. He had precision unlike anything you've ever seen before, other than in like movies and shit. And he moved like a military man. And he backed up against a wall, reloaded his gun, took a deep breath, shot another person, went around the thing, saw a white person, went, oh, sorry, and went around, turned around and went and shot a couple other people. That happened the day Shireen was killed. So as a red-blooded American, what are you going to care about more? Some random reporter being shot over in a conflict? You think, man, nothing to do with that, go back too far, we did blah, blah, blah. Or this obviously racially motivated grocery store shooting that happened in your neighborhood, basically. So while we were distracted by the grocery store shooting, the Shireen thing happened. Not over. Kidnap her brother. He goes immediately to the press and tells what happened the following day. Because, you know, like not like the Jays. The Jays get killed, and within hours, they've had their funeral. They're in the ground, and you have a rampage happening, or you have, you know, something happening in response. The Jays can make magical funerals happen within hours. Shireen, it took at least 2 days to get it organized. But her funeral was 2 days later, where the IDF showed up and attacked the funeral procession, because they were going to just say fuck you and carry their casket and wave their flags and sing their songs. They attacked the people, smoke bombs, flashbangs, billy clubs, batons. They beat people. They hit the people holding the casket so much they almost dropped it, which I wish they would have. I wish they would have dropped it and her body would have fell out. As disrespectful and horrible as that is, that would have made a much bigger international incident out of it. But they essentially stopped the funeral from taking place, the funeral procession from taking place, the traditional funeral procession from taking place. And that day was the day the shooting in Texas happened, where 19 kids and 2 teachers were killed in one classroom, yet parents weren't able to get their kids until as late as 3 in the morning because they had to give DNA samples to get their kids back. All of the kids and the teachers that were killed were all from one classroom, so it should have been pretty obvious whose kids were whose. But they all had to give DNA samples to get their kids back. That was the narrative. And so instead of us worrying about, are you serious? A government fucking military police organization attacked a funeral? When interviewed, the company said, well, they would have rather, basically, that they would have rather the world see them attack a funeral than see the Palestinians showing unity and singing songs and waving a flag. That they didn't want the world to see that. They wanted the world to instead see the IDF attacking a fucking funeral. And then from there on, they used the killing to sort of cover up the funeral. Like people didn't, the funeral was the worst thing. As much as her killing was bad, attacking a funeral is unheard of. There's no other similar stories out there. There's not a similar story out there where a government organization attacks a funeral. It doesn't exist. Now going back, you have stories like the Samantha Wool thing that happened here. Right? 3 weeks after, to the day, October 21st, 2023, a J community leader, so she didn't actually have a job, but she got a really good paycheck, was found murdered in front of her house at around 6:30 a.m. This is one of the craziest fucking most obvious bullshit Semitism stories you'll ever read. Go look it up. I don't want to go into it. But her boyfriend actually confessed. Her ex-boyfriend. They had just recently broken up. And he called the police one day because he had taken a double dose of his psych medication and hit his weed pen 4 times and called the police to say, I actually did. I think I did it. I just don't remember doing it, but I think I did it. And was then given immunity so he could testify against this random black guy that they found in the area and tried to pin everything on. Tried to give him all sorts of hate crime charges and all this other bullshit. And they couldn't get any of it to stick. So when it was all said and done, they gave him 18 months to 25 years in prison for lying to police. It is one of the craziest stories you'll ever hear. But, as crazy as that is, as I said, she was found dead at 6:30 a.m. October 21st. The newspapers, the early morning edition newspapers, from October 22nd, talk about how beautiful her funeral was, and over 1,000 people attended it. These are the newspapers from roughly 24 hours later. She was found murdered. It was unsolved. They didn't even put it on Michael Jackson Bolanos until later. It was completely unsolved. They didn't know what was going on, supposedly. And yet, her funeral was within a few hours, and 1,000 people were able to attend it. If anybody wants to tell me how that's possible, I would love to hear it. I know they have the body needs to be in the ground within 72-hour protocol, which seems to override all police action and all that other shit, like it did with both the synagogue shootings. Or no, just the one synagogue shooting. The second one too. It just wasn't as many. The second synagogue shooting, they had funerals for half the people, like 7 people on the day after, and the other 6 on the following day. Because, that's just possible. That's how you do it. But at least they waited a day. Samantha Wohl, J community leader, I guess no relatives in Israel or anywhere else, really. Found murdered. They were able to do whatever autopsy they needed to do, whatever investigation they needed to do, embalm her, set up whatever funeral arrangements there was, get 1,000 people there, dig the hole, and get her in the ground within 24 hours. It's more like 12 hours. Funerals don't happen at night like that, Funeral happens in the daytime. So it's within a few hours. How does her being J override all protocols? And the Germans kind of had some experiences. I'm in that department. Well, if you look at October 7th, 2023, it's not like there was thousands of funerals that day, or hundreds. They say around 1,100 people, or around 1,200, depending on what publication you're reading. They might get the number wrong, but they always have it worded the same way. Around 1,100, around 1,200 people killed in Israel. Not around 1,100, and it wouldn't even be an approximate, but around 1,100 or 1,200 Israelis killed. They don't say that. They say around 11 or 1,200 people killed in Israel. Now, if you were paying attention like I was, you know that almost immediately they claim that they killed 1,500 Palestinian militants and Hamas within minutes of the attack. They were claiming 1,500 people had been killed. So when they say that around 1,100 people were killed in Israel, they're not lying. Implying that it was Israelis is you know, the shitty kind of trick that they do. But if you look, again, there's not 1,100 funerals over the next 3 days. That's for damn sure. The only actual proof you have of the Israelis that were supposedly killed is a list of names. A list of names. Most of which are lieutenants or privates or military rankings. Their funerals outweigh everything. Outweigh common sense. Where are the funerals from October 7th? Maybe there's a couple. Where are the rest? How could they have accommodated that? I mean, when it comes to Samantha Wool, not only were they able to do the autopsy and dig the hole and have the funeral, they also, I guess, put everyone else on hold. Because it's not like they're generally working on the thing that just happened. There's a few, especially here in Detroit, there's a few ahead of them. Yet, not in that case. Meowthen. Meowdy. Meow are you? Or should I say, meow are mew? Oh, Max the kitty. I'm so funny sometimes. You guys understand this genocide is somehow being justified because they claim that around 1,100 people were killed in Israel that day, implying that it's Israelis. But if no Israelis were killed or no Israelis were taken hostage, which you can't show me an Israeli that's been released that even remotely looks like they've been hostage for the last fucking 600 plus days. And none of them seem to say anything bad either. All of the hostages talk about how well they were treated, just in case some of them ever actually do get taken hostage. You're supposed to know that you have to treat them really well. That's the standard protocol. It's fucking insane. Well, I know the Palestinians are complaining about their treatment, but what about the Israelis that were held hostage? They made one woman wash dishes. You don't make a J princess wash dishes. What are you doing? One of them, he got in trouble for washing his hands in the drinking water, which is a fucking forbidden, fucking disgusting thing. Why would you do that? They have hand washing water and they have drinking water. Is it because you didn't want to wash your hands in the same water that Palestinians did or something? I mean, granted, these stories are just made up. They're not real. But because he washed his hands in the drinking water, he was made to lay in a bed for 2 days without having to get up or do anything. So wait, they're getting beds? Oh no, this one, he was made to lay in a bed with a bunch of blankets on him for a few hours or a day or whatever. The other guy, who was standing in front of an open window when he wasn't supposed to be, he was made to lay in the bed for 2 days without speaking or to anyone or getting up. So they brought him his food and all that bullshit. And I hear those stories and I go, wait, you guys had open windows? You guys had beds, you guys had blankets. You guys had water, both hand washing water and drinking water. Boy, that doesn't sound like anything close to what the Palestinians say. The Palestinians get released and you know, they look like Conor McGregor when he was fighting Jose Aldo and shit. They look dead. Some of them are so traumatized they can't even talk. It's the most disgusting. Like, it makes the Vietnam broadcast look like fucking Casper the Ghost, man. Well, not really. I mean, the Vietnam broadcasts were fucking horrendous too. I can't just discount that. This sort of celebration that's happening over this is just unbelievable. Yeah, there aren't any real Palestinians. You know how stupid you have to be to say that? You know, the people that the country that's on maps all over the place from early on. The place where people lived and flourished. The place where Jays lived with Christians and Muslims for quite some time until, well, the Balfour doctrine, the Balfour doctrine, which was actually the Rothschild doctrine, but shh. The Rose Shield. What kind of comment is that? It's a dumb ass comment. This is what the dumb Jays say because they can't say anything else. Right? They can't deny that they're fucking killing people. It's a genocide. They're disgusting, horrible people. They can't deny any of that. So then they try to get you on this, oh, well, we're the Palestinians, aren't they? Yeah, it's just a fucking ploy. It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting how desperate and stupid. Like, it's so embarrassing. Why are we losing to such inferior, stupid people? If you're believing what this lunatic is saying, you need to be put in a mental hospital. Yeah, what part am I getting wrong there? Go ahead and tell me what thing I'm getting wrong. Please, by all means, tell me. Notice how, again, it's about making me crazy. So if you agree with me, you must be crazy too. It's ad hominem bullshit. It's what they do. 100% correct about Israel, and I am completely insane. Yes, that is very true. So desperate. Anybody that believes and supports Israel is just an absolute piece of shit. They are horrible people. Right? It's not like they're misguided or they've been... It's obvious what's happening. You have to be a piece of shit to see what's happening and go, oh, well, there is no Palestine. Oh, what are you talking about? There's no genocide taking place. I love how the headlines yesterday or the day before where Israel takes a break from genocide for some ethnic cleansing, for some ethnic cleansing. Not what anyone is saying. This is historical, verifiable fact. Just like everything I say. You think I'm going to give you guys the option of jumping all over something because it's some opinion or some shit? It's fact. This is all factual. I mean, if it wasn't factual, the fucking trolls would come in and say, you are factually incorrect about this. They would make me look bad and look wrong, which is the only thing I've already told you that's going to work. If some goofy dude thinks I'm not handsome enough, like, oh. If some dumb broad thinks I'm not handsome enough, oh. Like, why would I give a shit about that? But if they could point out that I was wrong, they would. Instead, it's about attacking the viewer. They know they can't attack me. They can't debunk me. They can't do anything but look stupid. So they attack the viewer. Because if I'm insane and I make sense, then you must be insane too. And you're going to say, I'm not insane, so this guy must be crazy. Yeah. I'm not even getting it. You're the guy that doesn't admit he's wrong, so it doesn't really matter. Not disproving shit. If you could prove gravity, you'd be famous. It's pretty simple. You'd be on TV proving gravity to people and ending the debate. But you won't, because you can't. But that doesn't matter. There's nothing more important to talk about than this. You want to get distracted by some bullshit you can't prove? I'm not interested. The earth-shape argument is such a distraction, it doesn't matter. Until we, Goyim, overthrow the Jays that control the narrative, and we can then fly the jets, and we can do all those things and see for ourselves, we can't know. We just can't know. And the concept of a ball flying through space and all that, it's dumber than the Bible. And I can't even believe I say that, but it's dumber than the Bible. But again, these are just distractions. There's nothing that can be done. You don't have access to some sort of vehicle or some sort of anything that can prove anything. You just want to talk. You want to fight. I want to argue. And instead, there's a fucking genocide taking place. It's Jay slavery that's been around forever. It's why you believe in gravity. It's why you believe in the fucking planets and all that other bullshit. It's all Hollywoodism. And instead of you being smart enough to see that, you want to be distracted by shit. It's amazing. It's amazing. Y-O-U-R, arguing from a position of incredulity. Yeah, sure. Just because you don't believe or understand doesn't mean it's not true. Sure. That's what it must be. It's just me. I'm the only person out there saying this. There isn't tons of other people out there making the same argument. Nope. Just little old me. So dumb. So dumb. And instead of sitting here talking about the genocide, talking about the Jay slavery, talking about the pedo stuff, I want to prove to you you can't. You just can't. Again, if you can prove gravity, make a fucking successful YouTube page, man. What are you doing? You could go down in history as the person that changes it from the theory of gravity to gravity, the fact. But you don't want to. You want to talk about, I want to argue with God because I don't want to talk about the J stuff. Disprove myself. I should disprove myself then. Okay, so how about you guys disprove that there's a leprechaun dancing around in my hand right now? Look at him go. Oh, I have faith he's there. I have faith he's there. And because I'm saying he's there, well, that must be it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. See the leprechaun? Do. His name's Leprechaun Charlie. Dude, you can't even get yours right. Not interested in your bullshit. It's just so weird to me. It's just so weird. There's more important shit going on than this. You want to do some dumb experiment? Do your experiment. Do it on a video and prove your fucking theory, and I'll come watch your video, okay? You do your experiment on your video, and then I'll watch your video and I'll critique it. Okay, does that work for you? You're so bored, go do something. Don't just troll, do something. Oh, I'm at work. You're at work. You're at work, not just watching, but commenting on my feed. Boy, you're a great employee. It's just silly, man. Not talking about genocide. Not talking about the fact that Trump, your buddy Trump, signing the legislation, killing free speech. Can't have free speech. That's not important. You want to play experiments. Fucking silly. Now you're the owner. Gotcha. Yeah, the book and a piece of paper, it only takes a minute. Yeah. Oh, should we drop something? That's going to prove gravity. Because the book weighs a lot more than the piece of paper, it's going to fall faster than the piece of paper does. Stupid. Look. Stop being so mean. I want to talk about the death, the murder, the genocide of an entire population. Mostly women and children at this point because all the men have been killed. I want to talk about our slavery. You want to have some pissing contest, and I already know my dick's bigger than yours, so it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care. You believe what you want to believe. That's all that ever happens anyway. It does not matter what people are shown. You know, I've already given you the task. Told you, go watch 200 Proofs the Earth is Not a Spinning Ball. Have your pad and your paper, and as you watch it, you write down everything you can debunk. And then, you know, come here and we'll go through it. You want to help my mind? Okay. I want to bring you back to the believing what I used to believe, or what I believe, because it doesn't make me, because again, instead of talking about something much more important, you're more concerned with me. Oh, I want to talk about you. I don't want to talk about the big picture. I don't want to talk. It's you, guy. It's you, guy. I don't remember any of the other way that song. You know it. Sing it for me, mama.
Oh, y'all don't want me to sing it?
Come on.
Oh, hell no.
I do. You look really pretty right now. That's weird. What'd you do? You just went and got laid, didn't you? Yep. She got laid or she's pregnant. One of the two. She's glowing. Glowing like a pregnancy. What more can be said? Plenty more can be said. There's lots of things that can be said. There's lots of things that can be talked about. There's lots of things that can be pointed out. There's lots of things that can be looked at. There's examples that can be put forth. You don't understand. You are just beneath me on this one, and you can't wrap your head around it because you're too arrogant. Your whole concept of science, your whole concept of the planets, of gravity, of all that, it's all Hollywoodism. It's all it ever is. Everything is Hollywoodism. It's part of the narrative that they wanted the goy to believe, so we could be distracted by all of these things and not focus on who's controlling us. They do everything but say it in those exact words in Hollywoodism. They've heard this flat. Where does Haley's Comet go for the approximate 75 years? Yo, where does it go? You think Haley's Comet just happens to be caught in some weird orbit where it goes way, way out, and then comes back? Not everything that gets caught in those kind of orbits, but for some reason, Haley's Comet did. Like, it's silly. It's just silly shit, man. Comets and shit like that, those are the funniest things. Like, so how do certain things get caught up in an elliptical or a non, like, because, you know, the planets are all in that flat egg shape, that fried egg shape. But how do the comets get caught in? Some comets are like, they go out 300 plus years and come back. It's just stupid. You believing that that's a fucking ice ball and that's a trail of the ice ball and that's Hollywoodism. That's them giving you the answer before you have the question. It's fucking stupid. Angular velocity upon capture into the gravity well. Yeah, that's what it is. It's angular velocity upon capture into the gravity well. Do you know how dumb that sounds? How is it that the gravity, like this idea of gravity being this super intelligent force, because somehow gravity knows to let the comet go out 75 years and then suddenly it's, that's enough. And now it's just pulled back. But this other comet can go 300 years and then it gets pulled back. And the planets, they're stuck in this particular thing. And all of this is taking place in a vacuum. It's all just stupid. It's all just stupid. It's a dumb story. And it goes against everything you experience. Everything you see, everything you experience totally nullifies that bullshit. You know? But again, it's all to distract you. If you're talking about that, you're not talking about how the Israelis are killing people. You're not talking about Team Jorge and how they control social media. You know, you're not talking about the Samson option and how they threaten the entire world with nuclear attack if they ever feel like they're in trouble again. You're not talking about Operation Cast Thy Bread, where it's proven that they put poison in the drinking water wells before they attack, which is still happening to this day. You know, these are things that need to be talked about. Especially when you realize that 72% of the American population, again, this is just what they want us to know. Whether it's true or not, well, who knows? But what they want us to know is that 72% of us in the United States drink fluoridated water because fluoridating water might give us a 26% chance of less cavities. If we were on a fucking on a plane and I said, all right, jump out of the plane, this parachute might have a 26% chance of opening. How many of you are jumping? But that's not the same thing. You could die from that. You're right. That's not the same thing as them putting fertilizer production byproduct into our drinking water supply. Nothing wrong with that. 5% of the rest of the world drinks fluoridated water. 72% of the United States does. They put something that will eat your skin off the fucking bone if you touch it. If you breathe it, it'll eat you out from the inside. It'll burn the shit out of you. And they put that in our drinking water. These are things that Netanyahu and company should have been answering these direct questions while standing at his own podium in the fucking White House. Exactly. He was given his own fucking podium in the White House. When him and Trump were giving their little speeches. Why are we okay with that? It might have a 26% chance of being effective. It might. Only some studies show that. Other studies are like, nah, doesn't do that at all. It's the most... It's just insane. It really is. Just fucking crazy to think about it. It's toxic waste. It's fertilizer byproduct. Fertilizer production byproduct. It's fucking insane. And who is in charge of that? How many of you voted on it? It's said that fluoride was used in the concentration camps to keep the people docile. Let's see, can we find that? Doesn't want to populate, that's for sure. Here's the reason to support a Florida county's decision to cut fluoride out from its drinking water. This was Becky Bowers on October 7th, 2011. That's interesting. The idea came from the Nazis. The Nazis put fluoride in the water to pacify Jays during World War II, a local resident told members of the Palencias County Commission on October 4th, 2011, before the commission voted 4-3 to stop fluoridating water for about 700,000 residents. History shows, actually, that in Nazi Germany, one of the first things that they did was add fluoride to the water in the ghettos where the Jays stayed, said Matt Leffler, a Clearwater resident. Once the Petersburg Times published its story about the decision, similar anonymous comments on the web piled up. Do you guys know where water fluoridation started? And blah, 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 blah. One reader declared that Nazi fluoride connection an absolute historical fact. Several readers. Are they going to say it's not true now? Nope, they're not going to. Several leaders linked to sources on the web. Certainly Nazis who killed millions of Jays in the 30s and 40s were known for chemical tests and inhumane medical experiments. So, did that include adding fluoride to the water? Read our analysis to the claim. Let's see. Of course they're going to say no. our Holocaust historian knew of no such project. Although there's all these comments and all this other, but one guy, the J didn't. It was used in Russian prison camps and produces schizophrenia. We found mention of Nazis in an article listing conspiracy theories. Fluoridation is alternately part of a communist family. It was pioneered. Two book author research on the subject. One a journalist, the other a hydrologist, found no credible evidence of such connection. The leading anti-fluoride activist and repudiates the story. The most commonly cited source was the story of 16-year-old striking. Commonly declared that this pants are on fire. Oh yeah, okay. So it's a lie. It's a lie now. Oh, okay. You'll find General J.D. that in addition to studied salt flour, mandrake, Jones, green, fluoridation began in 1946. Mandrake, how does this? It's obvious an important substance is introduced into our precious body fluids without the knowledge of the individual in certain choice. The reality is that anyone making any comment statement on fluoride speaks way beyond the evidence. In 1999, the Department of Health commissioned the Center for Reviews and Dissemination at York University to do a systematic review of the fluoridation and its effect on dental health. Little new work has been done since. And it wasn't a well-funded study, was it? In the review, 3,200 researchers, mostly of very poor quality, were unearthed. The ones that met the minimum quality threshold suggested that there was vaguely, possibly, around a 15% increase in the number of children without dental cavities in areas with fluoridated water, but the studies generally couldn't exclude other explanations for the variance. So 15%. Of course, the big idea with fluoride in water is that it can reduce social inequities in dental health. So when the British Dental Association says there is overwhelming evidence that adding fluoride to water helps fight tooth decay, it is in danger of stepping into the line with Jack D. Ripper. And when Johnson says fluoridation is effective, relatively easy way to help address health inequities, he is really just pushing an old-fashioned line which says complex social problems can be addressed with 50 worth of atoms. I don't know. Since I'm in the mood for scaremongering, let's not forget the potential harm. A study from Taiwan found a high incidence of bladder cancer in women from areas where natural fluoride content is high in the water. It might have been a chance finding, but it could be real. The problem is one of small effect sizes. Fluoride in bladder cancer would be a pig to research, as the effect size is small. The exposure runs over half a century, and the outcome, bladder cancer, takes a lifetime to reveal itself. Welcome to the finer details behind more research is needed. And the numbers can get very scary very quickly. In the UK, a 10% increase in risk would give you 1,000 extra new cases of bladder cancer a year. Fear. Actually, I enjoyed that. Maybe I should move to the mail. And it's crazy. It's such a crazy fucking bunch of shit. Anyway. Go get your free shit. Go watch Hollywoodism. The link is going to be in the description. It's the most important thing you can watch. Go get your free download, www.the-bilderberg, BILDERBERG.group.com. And go check out the video that we're sharing as well, the link to the Facebook page. Yeah. Pedophiles, kill yourself.